Here's a fun conversation that we're about to have. The Africa Rising International Film Festival, which recently returned this weekend with its eighth and most ambitious edition yet. If you're unfamiliar with the work that they're doing at Africa Rising International Film Festival and perhaps would like to know more about it and be involved yourself, well, this is the conversation that will help you get there and navigate your film aspirations on the African continent to tell African stories through them. And I love that.
It is indeed a special conversation that we're going to have, and we're going to talk about just the cinematic journey and also what audiences get to expect when the screenings finally show. As I understand it, screenings and events are going to be unfolding at Ster-Keniko, at the Cinema Nouveau, Ster-Keniko Cinema in Rosebank in Johannesburg. There's going to be screenings in the Northwest in Limpopo, as well as Cape Town. So listen, if you're in South Africa, you've got to check this one out. It's going to be wonderful. To unpack, we are joined by Ati Petela, founder and creative director of Salt and Sand, as well as Felicia Sitebe, I beg your pardon, co-founder of Actor Spaces and Act to Empower, who are going to talk to us more about this Africa Rising International Festival. Welcome to the both of you. Thank you very much for joining us, Felicia as well as Ati.
Thank you very much for having us, guys.
Thank you. Such an exciting, role, I would imagine, to play as a feminine, really at the forefront of film at this level, good quality film. Talk to us about this particular festival in its 8th year and what this milestone means in terms of how we define film on the African continent.
Sure. So the Africa Rising International Film Festival was established in 2018 as a sort of prelude or a pre-event to the Global Citizen. So what that essentially entailed is that all the big stakeholders and guests and stars from around the world who are coming to the Global Citizen knew that ARIFF was a must-attend event that celebrates Pan-African cinema. When we first started off, we used to host the festival at Newtown Junction Mall, a central place in Johannesburg, which meant easy access. COVID happened. We then did an online edition. Then coming out of COVID lockdown, we looked at what other central, easily positioned venues can we now look at? And that's where we had the relationship with Atlas Studios, and they host our talks, our short screenings, our panel discussions, and that's directly next door after, close to the SABC, close to VID. So again, that speaks to accessibility. And of course, Ster-Keniko Cinemas have been a big partner since day one, where we host our big screening. So really, ARIFF is a people's festival. It's a free festival. It's a festival where emerging and established filmmakers from Africa and the globe come together, engaged in all matters pertaining to film.
Oh, love that. We're talking all things the Africa Rising International Film Festival, which returned in its 8th edition. And we'll continue our conversation with Ati Petela and from Salt and Sand and Felicia Sitebe from Actor Spaces right after this. It's 19 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time.
Keep Africa in your hands. Connect to our website for all your news, sports, and cultural updates. channelafrica.co.za.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa 1. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa 1. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Tebogo and Mmatseko on the upside.
21 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. This is indeed The Upside with me, Tebogo Lekhuleni, and Mmatseko Mosito on Channel Africa, The African Perspective. Join us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Let's continue our conversation about all things the Africa Rising International Film Festival, which returned this past weekend with its 8th edition. And on the line, we're joined by Ati Petela from Salt and Sand and Felicia Sitebe from Actors Spaces. Felicia, I'm going to throw this question to you as the co-founder of Actors Spaces and Act to Empower, project manager of Africa Rising International Film Festival. Talk to us about from your perspective, this is the 8th edition of this festival. What made this year so different compared to last year?
What we're proud of, I did mention that ARIFF is a people's festival.
Yeah.
And we're very, very intentional around uplifting the next game changers in the industry. This year's film festival was headed by the youth. What I mean by that is that each HOD and across the different departments was headed by young people who essentially have come out of our mentorship and volunteering program, and they are now getting to flex that muscle as industry leaders. So we had Karabo Mokoena, who's such a beautiful success story, who came in as a volunteer in the festival, and now she's our actual film curator. Dumelo from our team as well started off as a volunteer at Actors Spaces and as an actor, but is now our social media manager. So one thing we're proud of is that on the organizational side of things, we've had the youth run the festival, of course, reporting to our exco, which is Lala Dugan, Ayanda Steb, and myself. However, we've given them the ropes to be able to contribute and tell us what do the young people want to see in the industry. We've had beautiful collaborations with Chocolate Tribe / AV Josie, who've come in with their design and animation component, and continued the partnership with Stokinko Cinemas, where this year we took kids from an orphanage, from Alexander Township, and from a community arts and culture group to come and experience cinema for the very first time. And with that, we did a simultaneous screening marathon with Limpopo Mall of the North, where the kids from the Polokwane school came through to the cinema. So really the narrative that we're seeing at this year's festival was having the young voices come up, take charge, and really contribute to the conversations. Another proud moment is that we had a producers talk, and this producers talk was with emerging producers in the industry. So the next great big producers, someone like Zigindlovu came in, someone like Simpiwe and Lebe came in. These are young producers who are now showing us what short form content is, what quick time content is, and how it's relatable to the digital era that we're in.
This sounds very exciting. I need to get your perspective just based on what Felicia is talking about in terms of, it sounds to me like there's just a wonderful balance between celebrating established filmmakers and also nurturing emerging voices. But let's talk about the festival now moving to multiple cities, which is another interesting layer to what's happening in its 8th edition. How does this national footprint, as we are seeing it, sort of change the kind of impact that ARIFF aims to make for this year and the future?
Well, I'm going to speak on that as an outside person looking in, and as a person who has been supported by ARIFF from the time I came in into the industry, because obviously between Felicia and myself, the connect with ARIFF is that we co-own a organization called WIFT, Women in Film and Television South Africa, which then becomes kind of puts us together. So I think I will answer your question, but I would like to say that I'm going to answer it as a person outside looking in, and as a person who has had first-hand experience with the support as an emerging voice once upon a time in my life, where ARIFF then supported me, and I guess now I am where I am. Full circle moment where we're coming back, and the same lady who supported me is the same lady I own something super special with, which makes me very excited. So to answer your question, I mean, ARIFF is has been very intentional about supporting the voices of people who wanted to come into the space and disrupt for a good cause, obviously. People who wanted to come into the space and have a unique voice and a unique lens into the African story and want to tell a different African story. And maybe there's no room for them, but we've always known that in ARIFF there is space and room for us, so that, again, we can grow and get to know and let the world know what the other side of the African lens looks like. Yeah. So that's something that I've appreciated so much. And I think to be part of ARIFF now, so actively, as people who are launching, I mean, we are babies in the industry as an organization with South Africa. In as much as, yes, we've been in the industry for such a long time, but we still want to be held. We still want people to say, we support you guys, we see you guys. And I think that's exactly what ARIFF has done. And I mean, now spreading into the other kind of provinces. Sorry, I think something is happening here with our login. So spreading into the other provinces, it feels like an organic move, because obviously I think the dream for ARIFF, knowing who they are, has been to be in Africa, you know, hence the Africa Rising Film Festival. And now to see them grow and to watch them grow, us as an African organization that has its footprint across Africa, it feels like the right fit. And I think we are all feeling so blessed to be part of ARIFF, because, again, these guys are so supportive. You know, they will check your blind spots, they will guide you, they will hold you. And I feel like this is exactly what the emerging filmmakers need. This is exactly what we need as an emerging organization, because, again, we're still trying to find our voice, but we're doing that in the comfort and the support of an organization like ARIFF. So, yeah, it's the right fit. I'm so excited for everybody. If anybody can get themselves aligned with the organization, absolutely, because I definitely think that ARIFF is the thing that every filmmaker needs. Whether grown, whether new, whether mid, like it's the thing, you know?
Ati, and you touched on it, the launch of Women in Film and Television South Africa, ARIFF. Talk to us about why this moment was so significant and why it is so significant in industry in South Africa as it stands.
I think and I think I'm going to speak for every member of WIFT South Africa when I say, I mean, Africa, your time is now. I mean, this is not by mistake. We do feel like, as storytellers, we do hold such a huge responsibility of influence. We hold a very huge responsibility in terms of how the world sees itself, in terms of how individuals see themselves, how communities see themselves. And I think it's about time Africa is not apologetic about being Africa as a unit, right? And I think that is something we've needed since the time of xenophobia, where it felt like we're being divided. We should have never, because Africa is so strong as a continent. And imagine Africa as a united continent. Imagine Africa as a united sisterhood. I mean, there's a Xhosa saying that says, that's literally what African women can do when they're united, and it becomes like a united sisterhood, an African sisterhood. And I think it was really, really, really important for us to be unapologetic about the unity of Africa, to be unapologetic about the influence of storytelling from a female African lens. And again, the unity of Africa from an African sisterhood. And I think that's why it's so important for women in film and television to exist right now, because we are almost putting meaning to collaboration, right? And saying it's not collaboration just because it's a buzzword, it's collaboration because we are consistently and deliberately weaving continents together to figure out what the power of the African creative economy looks like. And I think, it's about time. And I mean, the ARIFF really was the right place to be doing this. Again, because we're held, but again, because they almost stand for the same thing we stand for. And again, as a unit, we make much more noise with intention.
Yeah. I love you both so much. I just had to say that. Oh my goodness, so much beautiful passion coming through from two women that are really in conversation with us about the 8th edition, the 8th draft, as it's known, of the Africa Rising International Film Festival. It's just a pity that we have run out of time. It is now 3:30, but it was a pleasure to connect with both of you. Perhaps very quickly, Felicia, where can we get tickets for those that want to catch ARIFF for 2025?
So ARIFF 2025 sadly concluded its events yesterday. However, online there is still a lot of sort of highlights videos of how the festival went. We're very much active on social media, so people can DM us to find out our plans for next year. In the new year, we will be announcing our theme. We will be announcing the sort of thinking around ARIFF 2026, which is a lead up to ARIFF 10. So we're super excited. ARIFF is a call out for young and emerging filmmakers, short form content creators, designers, animators, panelists, podcasters, people in cinema. So year 9 is going to be bigger, better, more inclusive, and covering every single regional ground in Africa.
I love it.
Love that.
That is so beautiful. At ARIFF_festival on Instagram, that's the best place to go if you wish to acquaint yourself with the work and just see what a new generation of creatives are doing on the African continent. It is so exciting. We should all get involved.